Hello friends, it's me again. So I was just going over one or two of my videos. I knew the Lord was talking to me about Shockwave coming to the church. He was talking to me about it really clearly again, and I was trying to figure what's this Shockwave, because I knew when the Lord firstly gave me that word, He gave it to me a little time ago, and for me it came as a shockwave. It's like my body started shaking all over, and it was like the Lord was telling me there is a shockwave coming to the church. And at that time I didn't know what it was. And then I just started to listen to my video, Economic Shockwave. And you can also listen to the sinking of the Titanic, my two videos, especially the first one, Economic Shockwave. And I was just listening to that message again, and I realised what the shockwave is, the economic collapse that's coming to the world. This time when I was listening to that video, now when I got that word from the Lord, I really knew that was a very serious word from God. And I did take it serious. But this time when I was listening to that word, I just began to weep and weep and weep, because the conviction of it entered right into my soul and my spirit. I knew how significant this is going to be, how significantly serious this shockwave was going to be. This economic collapse is going to come suddenly. You've got to listen to the video, okay? I'll put it in the comments below, and you can listen to actually both of those words are really important words. But I knew that the church was going to. I gave a message about a word about the superstar church collapsing, and I knew the Lord kept saying to me, "I'm done with the church. I'm done with the church. I'm done with the superstar church, and the prosperity and the false doctrines and all that." I knew God was telling me, this is finished. This church system is over, and that God had made His decision. It was definitely over, but I didn't know how that was going to unfold. But I was sensing it again real strong recently. And boy, as I listened to that video, I realised that the shockwave is this economic collapse. And the interesting thing about that video, what I'm talking about decisions that Mr. P, I'm going to call him Putin, but it's Putin, President Putin, but I'm going to call him Mr. P because censorship on my YouTube, all the YouTube channels has gone ridiculous. Mr. P, the decisions that Mr. P was making was going to impact this economic collapse. So it was going to affect the petrodollar. I speak about this in that message. But at the time, I didn't know about the BRICS nations getting together, Putin bringing these BRICS nations together. And I heard another prophecy from someone else that talked about how God translated him, in a vision, to a meeting where these world leaders were meeting together. And in the meeting, they were discussing how they were going to bring down the United States. And the way they were going to do it was have the oil sold in a different currency. Right? And so when I was listening to the message this time, I thought, wow, because all the players are in place, all the mechanisms for collapsing the dollar are in place right now. And this was kind of what was really staggering to me, how things quickly have progressed and quickly have launched on. So the reality of this, and I recognized then immediately, how the churches would collapse, because without funds, without finance, they would collapse. But not only that, I realized as I was meditating these things before the Lord that when these big churches, these prosperity, so-called prosperity churches begin to collapse, how the people are going to be so angry. They're going to be so mad at the pastors for not warning them and telling them about this about this coming economic collapse, that they are going to, I think they're going to actually kill some of these pastors. They are going to persecute these pastors. There's going to be a huge level of persecution. And I'll tell you why. Because the Lord showed me that many, and predominantly this is America, because many people are living for their own satisfaction, their own luxury, and whatever they can grasp from life, that's all they're interested in. And that's why they will turn. They're secular Christians. Secular Christians are going to turn on these pastors. And boy, these pastors are going to suffer persecution like they've never suffered before. It's going to be wicked. And I'm telling you, this is what's going to happen. Because this is what I felt so strong in my spirit. I could see it in my spirit, what was coming. There's going to be so many suicides. There's going to be so many young people that's going to commit suicide because they've got no hope. They got no future. No one prepared them. No one gave them a strong backbone to be able to bear hardship. No one. And these young people are literally there's going to be droves of suicides like we've never seen. And if you don't start strengthening your young people, your children, to have backbone, to endure hardship like a good soldier of Jesus Christ, if you don't train your children in the way of the Lord, they are going to become vulnerable to suicide. Imagine. So you make sure you establish your children in the Lord, establish them firm and strong, and put their identity in Christ, you know. So that's what I saw. Businessmen, business people, I saw them being really vulnerable. Men especially, businessmen, where their businesses, all their life business that they put all their heart and soul into, is going to fall overnight. They are going to be so vulnerable to suicide, I'm telling you. It's going to be awful, awful. And this is only touching the surface of how chaotic and desperate people are going to become. I'll tell you something right now. The church needs to prepare herself to be a hospital. The church needs to prepare herself to be the strengthener, the carer, the nurturer, and prepare herself to be God, the hands of Jesus Christ, the voice of Jesus Christ during this hardship. This is where the remnant bride of Christ will really show her colours. They will really show their colours, the true Christians. But if churches are not going to change their format, change in how they minister to their people, they will crumble. They will not only crumble, many of these prosperity churches, their pastors and their leaders are going to come under such dreadful persecution. I see this happening. I see this happening, guys. This is what's going to happen. Many of us who have been giving these prophecies, it's not a joy to deliver hard prophecies, but at least we've been obedient to the Lord, And if you know this in your heart and soul, or if you don't know but you need to find out, go and find out. Go and speak to the Lord and find out what He's saying. Go and listen to the prophecies and hear what the Spirit of the Lord is speaking to this church. I know I'm in the wind now, so it's probably really noisy on this video. But this shockwave that's coming, I tell you, when I listened to my prophecy again, oh boy, the Spirit of the Lord came on me so strong, so strong. And it's going to be really, really shocking and tough. And we need to get ourselves prepared for what's ahead. I'll talk to you guys very, very soon. God bless you.